What is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Let's just straight up begin with the S25 with the design and feel. And by the way, if you find these videos helpful, entertaining, informing, click the like button for me. It helps get these videos to others who are also in need of this question, trying to decide which phone to buy here of the S25 line. Now you'll see right here what we do have curved edges, which is always one of my favorite traits of the regular S models, and that blue is beautiful, but sometimes it looks a little dark from certain angles, like right there. But the S25 Ultra has more comfortable feel than before, but it still doesn't match this. Let's talk about something that really stands out to me with this phone and why it's one you want to pick if you care mostly about ergonomics. This one right here feels great in the hand, but because it's so thin, they also have found a way to make this feel even lighter than ever before. So it just doesn't feel like you're carrying around much at all. They talked about the Galaxy S25 Edge, which is supposed to be coming out, which is even thinner than this, which is insane because this is already 7.2. But to put this in perspective, the S25 Ultra is 8.2. So that's more traditional, standard smartphone, big smartphone. But the S25 just feels ridiculous light, ridiculous thin. You'll need to put a case on that if you want it a little bit thicker, if you feel like it's too thin. The back is glass, and it does have a nice vertical camera array. Flash is under the body right here. It's easier to reach the power buttons, and generally, if you're looking for the phone that has the more comfortable, traditional, day-to-day, ergonomically great-feeling design, pick the S25. Now, from the design on the S25 Ultra, it's, I think, improved over the S24 Ultra if you're looking for better ergonomics. The flat edges make this thing easier to hold. It's more comfortable in the hand, especially in the corners. They're nowhere near as pointy. It does kind of look a little bit more standard though. It doesn't look quite as unique to me as S24 Ultra, but it's still a fantastic experience overall. Like, it feels flat, very flat. That's the way I would describe this one. Very large and flat, but it's still huge. So if you like a huge phone, of course you're going to want to go with this one. But the S25 Ultra, definitely the one for those people who want the largest phone, thinnest bezels, flat edges. This is a great phone as well. It's also quite light at 218 grams, but it's substantially heavier than the S25. So that's how you'll want to decide between those two. More traditional, much thinner, much lighter, both similarly thin bezels, but this one is kind of pushing the edge of innovation right here. So if you want that type of feel, you'll want this one on the right. So when it comes to display, I have to say the S25 Ultra is the better display. It's not only because it's large though. Some people don't care to have a big display. It's just a better quality display. This has anti-reflective coating, and you can get the anti-reflective screen protector, which does give you similar effects on the S25. However, this one just is a little bit better. It's QHD plus, it's brighter. It's just the top of the line really here. So you are getting the best you're going to find. Well, technically they can both peak out at 2600 nits, but I feel like my eye thinks it's brighter because I'm seeing more of the display, but technically they're similar. But QHD, we do have 120 hertz refresh, this LTPO panel right here. Both of them are that as well. More screen to body ratio, 92.5, and more space to just do things. With One UI 7, you do have the ability to do split screening and all that pop view stuff we've talked about numerous times on this channel, but also Samsung DeX. When I'm doing all of these productivity-based things, I do prefer the S25 Ultra because I have more space to do it. So if I'm in Play Store and I want to go ahead and split that up and go do something in settings real quick while I'm in Play Store, maybe I want to clear some app out or something like that. I go over here to settings. I scroll down over here to apps. You see how I have a lot more space to go ahead and check what's going on the side. Now I can also pull that back out. And then if I want this in like a little mini tablet mode here, you know, I definitely do have a lot more space for that. Now display on the S25 is also quite great. It's 1080 though, so I don't like that. That's why I like the S25 Plus. It might be a sweet spot. Although I haven't bought it yet, I plan to cover it soon, maybe before the summer. So we'll see about that. But over here, we go to display, and then we go down here. Let me scroll down. Vivid right here. You can put vivid, natural, but you don't see any resolution tweaking because this is just 1080. So that's just what it is. Now, I would say generally, if you think that the S25 is going to look like the S25 Ultra, I don't think it does. The display does look a little bit lower quality to me. just a little bit. I think it comes down to the vividness, the anti-reflective coating. It just looks better on the S25 Ultra. So if you want a better display, pick this one right here if you can deal with the size. If you still want a great display, but you're okay with a little bit less resolution, you'll be fine with the S25. So when it comes to performance, it is the same chip. We do have the Snapdragon 8 Elite on both, and they're both clocked at the same speed. So it's actually the same exact performance. We do have the Adreno 830 on here, and we have the Adreno 830 over here. One thing I will say is that the S25 Ultra might be able to have a little bit better cooling because the phone is bigger, so more heat dispersion. But other than that, these phones are basically benchmarking around the same performance. So it doesn't matter if you go S25 or you go S25 Ultra, you're definitely winning. I will say though that for getting the most out of the phone, I would recommend the S25 Ultra because bigger battery life and also bigger screen to take advantage of gaming or video editing. With the S Pen, you can get a little bit more precise control. So I feel like you're going to take more advantage of the power on the S25 Ultra. Whereas the S25, you'll just have a really fast, snappy day-to-day phone, but you're probably going to do a lot of regular tasks on the S25, which you can do on even lower tier phones. So I think you get more for your money when you buy something like the S25 Ultra, because you're probably going to use that a little heavier and actually get a little bit more out of that chip. But they are technically both the same in reality. So when it comes to battery life, go all in if you want better battery life on the S25 Ultra. It is substantially better, although I have found some other phones on the market better than both of these. So Samsung phones are still not, I think, the best battery life phones out there, but they're pretty good. They're kind of like in the middle to me. They have really good charging speed, but not the best. Like OnePlus is faster charging. They don't have the biggest size battery life, but they do better than certain iPhones, for example, but they don't beat some 6,000 plus milliamp phones out there as well. They're somewhere in the middle, which is pretty fine for me. But this is basically a one-day phone versus a power user phone. That's kind of how you could look at it. You're looking at a day phone, go to work, go do your thing, go out about your day. You know the drill. Come home, you're still decent. You're getting kind of low, though. You're charging this thing every night. This one over here, this is power user phone. This is use this thing heavy all day, and then you'll still have some battery left over. But some people have been saying their updates have been hurting the battery life. For me, I don't find that to be a problem for me so far. I'm still getting a full day and then some, but heavy use will kill this one in a day. Heavy use will probably kill this phone before the day is up if you're going really heavy on it. So you got to pick and choose here, but I think both of them are easily good enough for a regular user's day for sure. But if you're putting this thing on GPS, you're playing games, you're going to want the S25 Ultra for sure. This is the one with the longevity. And I think it's one of the reasons why the Ultra tends to remain the more popular choice sometimes amongst a lot of these Samsung phones, because it has the largest capacity battery. That's something a lot of people care about. So do you save your money on the camera or do you go all in? Well, this really depends on who you are and what you want to do with your photography. You can also do really good video on the S25 with the log recording. However, don't be fooled. It does have that feature, but this camera is still not S25 Ultra good. They don't always put the best cameras on the base S25s. They're good. They're definitely better than their budget range, and they're still flagship level. However, they're not like pro level. So that's where you go to the S25 Ultra. And it's one of the things that irks me a little bit about the Samsung line is like, why do we have to go to the Ultra to get the crazy long zoom, to get the best of the best from the camera department? I don't like that. Now, I just wish they had the same exact lens. I kind of feel this way about the Z Fold as well. So if you care about camera, go all in on the S25 Ultra. There's no doubt about it. This is the better option here. Way more zoom, and I found the photos to just be sharper and a little bit better quality. If you're okay with really good quality, but you also don't care about having maybe the top on the market, you'll find the S25 a very joyous experience. It's also very easy to get photos. It can still do 30x zoom. And if you go over more, you are still loaded with the features. They even threw in the log, which they didn't have to do, but they did. So you can still play around and get a little bit pro over here as well. And they both do offer up really decent AI features like the audio erasing and stuff like that. So it's pretty good stuff. So when it comes to software, One UI has been pretty awesome here, One UI 7. However, I don't like the slow update, the scattered rollouts. I just wish that, and these ones launch with One UI 7, but what's been going on with the previous year models, like they just delayed the update, we're waiting on it. No, this has got to stop, because these phones are getting, iPhone money over here. This is what you're paying for them. We should be getting iPhone level updates as well. We should be getting Pixel level updates like as frequently. So Samsung really got to get it together with getting this all at the same time. It's like the main thing that still probably has people pausing when they're like wanting to use a Samsung phone. So do keep that in mind. It is something that could irritate you, but I will say that they're still better than a lot of other manufacturers when it comes to the software updates. It's just that the major ones, they've been kind of a little bit slow with it. But generally, I think these are really fun to use, because if you go over here, you can play around with all the Galaxy theme stuff. You also have the entire Galaxy Store, plus you have the Google Play Store. So you are kind of like doubling up here on both. You can also use Good Lock and all these customizations. So if I was to want to play around with an Android phone and really have some fun with its customizing, I would want a Samsung Ultra or an S25, because it just has all the Samsung. It's just fun. Let's just put it that way. If I could sum it up, it's fun. The software is fun. Also, it does have very useful AI, including the Gemini key that can be triggered over here from the right button. But if we go over here to Galaxy AI, you're going to find yourself the call assist, writing assist, just so much going on. Now, we don't know if Samsung's going to charge for this down the line. Currently right now, they're not really doing it. But hopefully they don't really get rid of these base features. Maybe they'll charge for some more advanced stuff, like kind of like ChatGPT does for their different models and things of that sort. But right now, the AI stuff is kind of limited to Gemini over here, as well as the on-device AI, and it's all very good stuff. It's fun. It could be a little bit gimmicky for some people right now, but gimmicky really comes down to if you're using it. At the end of the day, though, I am looking forward to seeing a little bit more AI stuff down the line, but it's still like one of the better ones out here. So there are some extras you only can get on the Ultra that I want to talk about, and that is better cooling. You probably can get a little bit more storage on this phone as well. You do get the S Pen, which some people are saying is lame because it got rid of the BLE. S Pen is still unique though. Like, even though they have BLE, it's still unique to this phone. Not a lot of phones even have a pen. So that's still a unique feature, regardless if you don't like that they got rid of the BLE feature. And Samsung has stated they're not getting rid of the S Pen next year either. So if you were thinking, oh, they're just going to get rid, if they get rid of the S Pen, there's no reason for a Ultra and a Plus. They should just make one beast phone and that's it. If they're going to get rid of the pen, I feel like. But pen's still there, so that's definitely a benefit over this one. And when it comes to the phone call quality, it's going to come down to the carrier you choose, whether it's Verizon, T-Mobile. It doesn't matter. It's going to change depending on your area and who has a better service wherever you're at. But you can get these unlocked. I will say, look out for some carrier incentives and deals. They do tend to pop up a lot more on Samsung phones, I find. And also, Samsung does throw different seasonal sales on these, so look out for those, because you can get some massive trade-in discounts, and usually you don't have to pay the full price. And in 2025, with the way the economy is right now and all these things going on, like, do you really want to pay the full price? I don't. So definitely I would look into the deals you can get or cop with a trade-in or something like that. Let us know your experience, what kind of deal you got on your phone, because it can help others maybe go catch that deal as well before that deal is up. So do you go and get the S25, or do you go all in on the S25 Ultra? Well, after a few months, you've seen my details comparison here. I will say it comes down to, do you want a phone that is a powerhouse in your pocket, but also very thin, light, and doesn't have maybe the top specs with the display because it's not even a QHD, but you're okay with this at this size point? This thing is a beast, the S25. I just wish the cameras were a little bit higher end, like a little bit closer to this phone. And I wish it had a little bit better battery life. It's really good, but it could be better. Go with the S25 Ultra if you're looking for maybe what could be argued the best Android phone in 2025 so far. I haven't found a phone that beats this phone yet in every area. So we're looking like we're having another top contender here from Samsung with the S25 Ultra. Like, not a lot of phones, again, another jack of all trades, or not a lot of phones are beating this phone. So if you want to be all in at the top of the top, you know which one is going to be your beast here. It's going to be the S25 Ultra. So if this video helped you decide which one is going to be the smarter buy for you, Let us know down below in the comments section. Any questions, comments, concerns, let us know as well. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more, and I will catch you all in the very next comparison. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.